Well, good afternoon, everyone. Well, welcome to Cathay Group's 2025 Interim Results Media Briefing. My name is Andy Wong, General Manager, Corporate Affairs for Cathay. Whether you're attending today in person or online, it is a pleasure to see you all, and thank you for joining us. Please note that Cantonese, 普通话, English simultaneous interpretation is available at today's press briefing. Please feel free to ask questions in any of these three languages in the Q&A session. Introducing our speakers for today. Chair, Mr. Patrick Healy. Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ronald Lam. Chief Customer and Commercial Officer, Ms. Lavinia Lau. Chief Operations and Service Delivery Officer, Mr. Alex McGowan. Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Rebecca Sharp. Without further ado, let me invite our Chair, Patrick, to share his opening remarks. Mr. Chair, please.
Thanks, Andy. Good afternoon to all of you, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. So before sharing the Cathay Group's interim results for 2025, I'd like to begin with some exciting news. Today, we're pleased to announce that Cathay is exercising purchase rights for an additional 14 Boeing 777-9s, bringing our total commitment to 35 of these aircraft. This yet again underscores our total commitment to the long-term development of the Hong Kong International Aviation Hub, which is entering an exciting new phase of growth and opportunity in the wake of the opening of its three-runway system. Over the past few years, we have embarked on an all-encompassing fleet renewal and expansion plan, which includes orders for over 100 narrow-body, regional wide-body, long-haul wide-body, and large freighter aircraft. This new order brings our total investment to well over $100 billion, which also includes new cabin products, lounges, and digital innovation, further strengthening our home hub and elevating the customer experience to new heights. For the first half of 2025, we continued to expand our network and to enhance our customer experience, despite an uncertain operating environment, achieving some significant milestones along the way. As a group, our passenger airlines, Cathay Pacific and HK Express, have launched or announced 19 new destinations so far in 2025, with more still to come. We now fly to over 100 passenger destinations globally as we continue to enhance Hong Kong's connectivity to the world. We're also delighted to have been recognized in multiple renowned industry rankings and awards this year. Cathay Pacific was named one of the world's top 3 airlines, as well as being recognized for having the world's best economy class and the world's best in-flight entertainment, according to Skytrax. Meanwhile, Cathay Cargo was again named Cargo Operator of the Year by Air Transport World, and HK Express was named one of the top 5 low-cost airlines in the world by Airline Ratings. These achievements would not have been possible without the steadfast support of our customers and the dedication of our people, for which we are extremely grateful. The Cathay Group, including our airlines, subsidiaries and associates, reported an attributable profit of $3.7 billion in the first half of 2025, and this is a similar level to the first half of 2024. Our first half result has allowed us to announce a first interim dividend payment to ordinary shareholders of 20 cents per ordinary share, totaling $1.3 billion. This is the same amount per ordinary share as the first interim dividend paid in 2024. Cathay Pacific and HK Express combined carried about 30% more passengers in the first half of 2025 compared with the same period in 2024. However, as more capacity was added to the market, yields continued to normalize as expected. HK Express faced short-term challenges that affected its earnings, including temporary changes in customer preference for one of its strongest destinations, Japan, due to earthquake rumours, and it has also launched several new routes recently, which will take time to mature. Cathay Cargo demonstrated resilience in the face of considerable market uncertainty due to changes in tariffs. We have been able to leverage our global network and redeploy capacity to take advantage of areas where the markets are still strong, helping us to continue contributing to the strong cargo tonnage throughput at Hong Kong International Airport. Lower fuel costs also contributed to our result. Fuel was less expensive in the first half of 2025. The group's average interplane fuel price was 13% lower compared with the first half of 2024. Meanwhile, the results from associates, the majority of which are recognised 3 months in arrears, reflected an attributable loss of $181 million compared with a loss of $342 million in the first half of 2024. The strong foundation we have built over the past few years has made us more resilient than ever before, placing us in the best possible position to navigate a turbulent environment. That said, we are not immune to the various challenges that continue to affect the entire aviation industry. All our available aircraft are fully resourced and flying. Following the record high recruitment we have been managing in recent years, our recruitment and training have now reverted to more normal levels in line with our long-term growth trajectory. Finally, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all our customers for their continued support and to everyone at Cathay for your unwavering commitment to excellence. Together, we look forward to taking Cathay to new heights and continuing to strengthen Hong Kong's status as a leading international aviation hub. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before we take your questions, please note our CEO, Ronald, will also recap some of the key points in Cantonese in the closing remarks towards the end of the press briefing. An electronic copy of today's press release will be available for download using the QR code at the media reception desk. Now, on to your questions. If you would like to ask a question, kindly raise your hand. I'll call on you and one of our colleagues will hand you a microphone. Please state your name and the media organization you work for. Kindly limit your questions to a maximum of 2 so that we can respond to as many media friends as possible. So, first question. 香港電台
港台都想先問翻啦，關於買飛機方面啦，都係事隔多年咧，恢復向波音咧買飛機啦。你哋都有提到話，即係製造商都大幅有價格嘅優惠，呢個係咪即係主要嘅考慮因素啦？上次都有回應到話關於即係國產 C919啦，暫時嗰個嘅考慮購買意願有冇話有啲最新嘅即係可以再同大家分享下咧？關於快運嗰度啦，有講到話即係都係啲日本地震傳聞啦，有冇話對係咪例如對7月嗰個價格啊，或者係個航班班次個影響比較大啦？即係暑假個期間係大概點樣啦？個恢復嘅情況而家去到咩水平度，同埋預計幾時恢復盈利咧？唔該。
唔該。
多謝。呢位記者嘅問題，咁或者飛機嗰度咧，我陣間pass 俾阿 Alex 去詳細去再講一講。咁我嘅 comment 咧就係我哋同空客同埋波音咧，其實都係好多年都有好好嘅合作。咁大家睇翻我哋其實嘅機隊咧，都傳統嚟講其實差唔多係一半一半 Airbus 同埋 Boeing 嚇。咁我哋希望咧透過今次我哋買7779咧，亦都繼續同Boeing 又好 Airbus 又好咧，我哋長遠咧都繼續有好好嘅夥伴嘅關係。咁陣間咧阿 Alex 咧可以再詳細講解一下。咁或者我集中講一講香港快運嘅情況啦。咁頭先主席都講過啦，咁香港快運我哋喺上半年咧就蝕咗5億左右嘅港元嘅。咁咧主要就係面對一啲短期嘅因素。咁有2個短期嘅因素。咁喺香港傳媒嘅朋友大家都好清楚，就係香港咧係前幾個月咧都受住 日本地震嘅謠言影響啦，咁令到我哋上半年，尤其是5月同埋6月，香港人去日本旅行嗰個需求咧就大減。咁隨住咧呢個謠言咧喺7月初嗰度咧證明咧係冇發生到之後咧，其實我哋都見到香港人去日本嘅訂位咧，其實慢慢已經翻咗嚟。咁亦但係咧需要時間，所以咧未完全正常化。但係我哋見到咧，其實由8月開始咧，日本嘅訂位咧其實有顯著嘅上升。咁我哋會未來喺下半年咧繼續緊密咁去觀察日本旅遊出行嘅情況。咁另外咧就係香港快運，其實過去呢1年2年咧，其實都開咗好多新嘅航線。淨係今年咧，其實佢哋都宣布咗有12個新嘅航點。咁當我哋要開新嘅航線咧，其實都係需要時間俾呢啲航線係成熟，咁唔會話即刻就賺錢。咁所以我哋咧都要俾呢啲新嘅航點咧有一個時間去發展。咁喺未來咧，其實我哋對香港快運嗰個信心咧係非常之大嘅，因為咧我哋睇到佢哋嘅基本喺作為一間低成本航空公司嘅發展咧，其實係非常之向住一個正面嘅方向。例如佢哋嘅飛機使用率啦，佢哋單位成本其實咧喺上半年比起去年咧，其實一直都有進步。咁同埋咧，佢哋喺營運方面啦，無論安全準點方面咧，其實都係世界領先嘅低成本航空公司。咁所以咧，假以時日，我哋希望亦都好有信心，會見到香港快運咧上返一個正面嘅財務嘅軌道上邊。咁飛機方面咧，我等阿 Alex 係去詳細再解答。
Thank you. Thank you for the question. As the Chief Executive said, we do operate a mixed fleet of Boeing and Airbus aircraft. And as you'll have seen, Airbus have won recent orders for our mid-size wide-body aircraft, and before that, a next-generation wide-body freighter aircraft. As always, we undertake a very comprehensive evaluation and negotiation, and we match that to the network picture that we are procuring against. And in this particular case, we had compelling offers from both Airbus and Boeing, and we were able, I'm confident, to select the right aircraft for the next phase of our long-haul network development, the Boeing 777-9. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Xinhua Wang.
您好，我想请问一下，从长远来看，国泰航空如何进一步发挥根植香港、背靠祖国、连通世界的战略定位优势，然后在全球航空市场中实现持续稳健发展，打造成为具有更强国际影响力的航空集团？
好，谢谢这个提问。国泰这几年我们发展是基于一个很清晰的、独特的定位，就是植根香港、背靠祖国、连通世界。那这个在我们很多方面公司的发展，其实都是正在走这个方向。比如说在我们员工的组成方面，我们过去这2年积极的在内地招聘乘务员，还有见习飞行员。那现在我们呢，在内地的员工呢，已经会接近，就是年底应该会达到4000人左右。那在我们3万多人的团队里边，占一个很重要的位置。那透过招聘内地的乘务员，比如说令我们呢的服务更多元化。除了有香港的乘务员以外，我们有内地的乘务员，还有亚洲各地的乘务员。也是配合我们乘客的组成，令我们无论是哪里来的乘客都会有一个亲切的服务。另外就是在餐饮方面，我们也是向着这个独特的定位去发展。我们一直以来都是有港式滋味的一些飞机餐，那配以一些我们叫环球风味，就是比较国际化的一些餐饮。那今年我们推出就是寻味中华，就是中国的8大菜系的一个设计的菜色，放在我们香港到内地的航班商务舱里边。 这几个月呢，有很正面的反馈，所以以后呢，我们可以把这些群味中华的菜色也可以放在我们国际航班里边。所以我们除了员工的组成，我们对客户的体验也是照着这个方向。总体来讲呢，我是希望我们国泰可以做到最国际化的中国航司。也是最中国化的国际航司，这就是我们独特的定位。谢谢。
好，谢谢 Ronald. Next question. Danny, Bloomberg.
Hello, everyone. Danny Lee from Bloomberg News. Given the competitive landscape, the geopolitical environment, Cathay talks about robust demand in its outlook. Where do you see markets that are stronger, where is weaker? Can you also give a picture of the yield environment? Is it going to get better or worse on short and long haul? Does Cathay see a greater pressure to discount than ever to keep load factors high? And then secondly, on Hong Kong Express, in the analyst briefing, there is the word path to profitability for Hong Kong Express. When does that start to turn around? When does it start to be an earnings contributor? Are you happy with, or is there expectation of this 500 million loss in the first half? Is that satisfactory? Is the turnaround a multi-year process? What needs to improve for them to get into the black? Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. So first, your question on demand and yield. I'll ask Lavinia to provide a little more colour. Let me just sort of make a couple of general statements. I think the performance in the first half was solid. Demand was robust. We saw significant increases in the passenger numbers, as we expected, as we continue to grow following the rebuild. But yield, as you've seen, has normalized. And I think those two things basically go hand in hand, right? So as capacity has been added, the imbalance in supply and demand has been redressed. And you've seen that reflected in the double-digit percentage in yield normalization. That's the big picture that you're looking at that I think is reflected in the numbers for the first half. But let me pass to Lavinia to give a little bit more colour on the demand and yield performance and future outlook.
Sure. Thanks, Pat. And thanks, Danny, for the question. I think, as Pat has mentioned, I think overall we are seeing the demand for travel to remain robust for the rest of the year. Yes, I think on individual routes, we might be seeing some fluctuations. So, for example, on the U.S. route where we are adding a lot of capacity, well, this summer we are actually adding 50% more flights on North America, which is a lot of more supply. So that, together with some of the, uncertainties we are seeing around, for example, on that route we used to rely a lot of traffic from Chinese mainland, but because of the latest visa situation, we are seeing a little bit of softening during summer. But I guess for Cathay Pacific, our advantage is that we are a network carrier. So whereas there might be certain weak points in certain origin destination, we can always tap on the rest of our network. So for example, on US route, now we are turning a lot more, apart from Chinese mainland, we're also turning to Southeast Asia and, for example, India to get traffic, so to keep filling up our flights. Obviously, as we continue to add supply, then the supply-demand balance got a bit better. Fares might go down. I think that is totally expected. So, but that won't deter us from adding more supply and more choice for our customers. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Lavinia. Yeah, on the Hong Kong Express question, I'm sure Ronald would be happy to take that. Maybe just let me preface Ronald's response with a sort of general comment about our group's dual brand strategy, right? So, we have tremendous confidence in the dual brand strategy. In the post-3-runway system era, we see a real opportunity for significant growth of the low-cost sector in Hong Kong. And so having a dual brand strategy, as we do as a group now, gives us this opportunity to really press home Cathay Pacific's advantage as one of the top premium carriers in the world, and then to consolidate and continue to grow HK Express's reputation as a leading LCC carrier in this region. We talked about some of the recognition and awards that we're already starting to see with Cathay Pacific now back in the top 3 premium airlines with Skytrax and Hong Kong Express already recognized in the top 5 low-cost carriers. But Ronald, I'm sure you'd be happy to answer Danny's question in a little more detail.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. On HK Express, we are very confident about the future of HK Express. It's just that HK Express is facing some short-term challenges. So why are we confident about the long-term future? First of all, if you look at all the operational data and the financial data, you will find that their safety record, their on-time performance, their unit cost, their aircraft utilization have been on top-notch record and improving all the time. So when we look at HK Express as a low-cost carrier, its fundamentals are very strong and keep improving. And that gives us the confidence about its long-term future. In terms of the short-term challenges, I mentioned there are mainly 2 short-term challenges. One is the impact of the earthquake rumor in Japan, affecting Hong Kong people's desire to travel to Japan. But since July and now into August, we are seeing that the booking to Japan has seen pick up, although it's not back to full normal levels yet, but I think we are seeing an improvement trend. So we believe from that perspective, we are out of the worst time. Another factor I mentioned was that because HK Express was rapidly expanding in the last 2.5 years, in fact, compared to 2019, they are now double the size in terms of flight frequency and capacity. And they've launched so many new points, and these new points would take time to mature. And we believe that given time, many of these routes will come out to be profitable as we have demand pick up. And by launching these new routes, we also diversify our network away from just Japan. Japan was like close to 50% of HK Express frequency and network, but now its weighting is reducing as we launch more flights to places like Korea, Taiwan, Southeast Asia, Chinese mainland. So in the long run, we believe we will have a more balanced network that will be able to diversify our risk across different destinations. Thank you.
Thank you. SCMP, Kenix?
Hello. Boeing aircraft has been involved in a number of accidents or issues in recent years. Why does Cathay suddenly decide to make this purchase plan on top of its previous plan of buying 100 aircraft? Does it have anything to do with easing the US and China tensions? The second question is about Airport Authority CEO Vivian Zhang earlier calling on Cathay to double its passenger numbers to cater to the added capacity of the airport, particularly in view of the Terminal 2 opening. Is it possible for Cathay to double its passenger numbers? How are you going to respond to her call? Also, since you said you would stop hiring people, does it mean that the company is stopping its network expansion? If not, where could you get enough aircrew to expand your network? Thank you.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Thanks, Kenix. Okay, on the Boeing question, let me just sort of make a general comment, and then perhaps Alex would like to add a little more color about the procurement decision. Look, Kenix, I mean, Cathay has very strong relationship with both Boeing and Airbus going back decades. I think Ronald mentioned in one of his earlier responses that Cathay has been proud to have a dual fleet for most of our history. It's worked well for us, and that's something which we believe will be a part of our future, just as it's been a part of our past over the last few decades. So, we continue to have tremendous confidence in both of our key airframe suppliers. We continue to receive excellent service from both. But Alex, maybe a little more color on the decision that we've made.
Yes, certainly. I mean, you're quite right. Canix Boeing has certainly had a troubled period in the recent past, but we are very encouraged by the renewed focus that Boeing leadership has on engineering and production quality. We've seen that their test flying program has recommenced. They've got 4 test planes in operation now, that have collectively flown 1,400 flights and over 4,000 hours. And yesterday, the 5th aircraft commenced its testing cycle. So they're really making great progress with the testing of that aircraft. And we've got confidence that we will have our first 777-9 in 2027. I think we do operate a mixed fleet, and that gives us versatility, it gives us flexibility, and we're very pleased that we'll be expanding the 777-9 volume of aircraft that we will be operating in the near future.
And your second question about Vivian and the airport authority. Look, obviously we partner with the airport, hand in hand on an ongoing basis. We see ourselves as being right at the centre of the Hong Kong aviation hub, and so it's our job, together with the airport authority, to really maximise growth and to explore all of the opportunities that this new era, following the opening of the 3-runway system and the forthcoming opening of Terminal 2. We think that our growth is on track. We're meeting the requirements of Hong Kong with over 100 destinations already, with $100 billion in capital committed for future growth. 19 new destinations already announced or launched this year, and more to come. So, we're going all out to support the airport authority in really optimising the opportunities which are being presented by the expansion of the airport, and we'll continue to work hand in hand with the airport authority to do everything in our power to really optimise the future of the Hong Kong aviation hub in the interest of all of us here in Hong Kong. I think the point about hiring, and I can maybe pass to Alex for a little more colour on hiring. The point about hiring is that we're not stopping. The point that we made is simply that the period of quite extreme recruitment and training numbers that we've seen over the past couple of years in the build-up since COVID is now behind us. Levels that we'd seen in the past couple of years. That period is now behind us, and we're back now in more of a sort of steady state system. So of course we're still hiring, we're still training, we're still expanding, but it's more at a level of historical norm in line with our longer term growth trajectory. But Alex, you might have some more colour you want to add on the recruitment and training picture.
Yes, I mean, that's exactly right. All our aircraft are operating now, and we're fully resourced for the schedule as it's flying today and well into next year. Beyond that, it will be normal levels of recruitment and training, with an emphasis particularly from a cabin crew and ground staff perspective on increased service training so that we can really meet the needs of our customers around the world. I think the other points to make are that our cabin crew and pilot attrition, the turnover of people, is lower than it's ever been. People are staying with us much longer, and that's very encouraging to see. And our absence rates amongst pilots and cabin crew are lower than they've ever been as well. So people are coming to work, they're happy at work, and we're very pleased with those trends as well.
Okay, thank you. 下一个问题是那个第一财经日报。
各位好，我想问2个下半年的问题，一个是下半年是否会恢复更多的内地航线，或者是新开内地航线，然后是否也可以介绍一下今年上半年开通的新疆的航线，它的这个收益情况怎么样？另外一个问题就是下半年我们的市场能不能做一个预测，包括就是货运市场和客运市场，因为我们看到上半年货运市场的载运率和收益率都有所下降，下半年是不是还是这个趋势？客运的话，如果能够分不同的区域来预测一下的话，会更好。谢谢。
好，我请刘凯斯去详细一点的回答。但我们刚才主席也提过，就是今年6月份，我们全球的客运航点已经超过了100个航点。 那在我们全球的布局，也是一个内地跟国际并行的一个布局。所以在我们的航线的开通呢，我们会在内地的航线会增加，在国际的航线也同时增加，所以我们都两边都是积极的推动。那详细的内地的航线的展望呢，我交给凯世总去解释一下。
是，谢谢你的问题。当然，我们会继续开拓我们内地的这个网络。其实今年，这国泰跟快运加起来，我们已经新增加了4个不同的航点，就是呼鲁木齐啦、常州啦、义乌跟这个新开的这个贵阳。所以接下来我们应该还会有公布的，但是现在容许我卖个关子。当然，其实除了增添新的航点以外，我们也很积极的加强我们现有的航线。其实我们现在在北京航线下面2家公司加起来每天有8个来回的航班。另外在上海，如果是浦东跟虹桥加起来，每天也有9个航班。所以在未来，我们除了积极的增添新的航点，增加我们的广度以外，我们的网络的深度我们也会加强。令到我们整个网络都是强大起来，真的是可以做到，用我们香港跟我们国泰的优势，真的是把内地跟世界各地全球连接起来。
另外就是下半年的展望，就是客运货运的展望。
先讲这个客运吧。客运其实我们上半年的需求已经是很强的。如果是你看到我们刚刚公布的这个我们是这个入座率大概是去到85%，这个是挺高的。那我们展望下半年，我们觉得这个需求还是这个势头还是会保持的。虽然在可能是个别的航线，我刚刚也有提到过，可能是说，比如说是美国的航线，因为我们投入了很多新的这个运力，加上可能是中美之间现在有一些，比如说是签证问题啊，有一些不明朗，可能是从国内出发到美国的可能需求可能是暂时有一些影响，但是我们整体如果是看其他的地方，比如说是东南亚印度这些去美国的还是需求是很多的，所以我们觉得总体来说这个客运的需求应该是还是不错的。在货运来说更多的不明朗了，但是我们下半年如果是看我们的业绩的话，其实也是不错的。我觉得主要在货运方面，我们的优势第一也是我们是有一个很好的全球的网络。如果是个别的航线，可能是可能比如说，尤其是今年因为是关税的问题，也是可能是内地前往美国的货运的需求有一点点的影响。但是好像是客运一样，我们也可以看我们网络的其他的地方，比如说也是东南亚或者是印度，也是同样的地区，他们其实跟货运的需求也是很大。所以我们最重要的是保持这个灵活性跟这个弹性，可以随时的调动我们的这个货机的，比如说是网络做一些微调，令到我们可以很好的捕捉到这些新的这个需求。所以我觉得，但是这是我们上半年的一些所做的这是一些措施去灵活的捕捉这个市场嘛。下半年还是很多不明朗，但是我们觉得我们还是用这样的一个措施去面临这个挑战吧。
好，謝謝。下一個問題，Tony 星島。
管理層你哋好啊！我用中文問問題，想問下個收益率方面嗰個趨勢咧，而家嗰啲機票價格喺國泰航空同埋香港快運方面咧，係點樣走啊？即係特別係國泰航空長途航班嗰個機票價格正常化咗未咧？而香港快運因為即係地區網絡嗰個供應增加之後，嗰個機票價格嘅壓力仲係咪會繼續向下跌落去咧？另外想問下個盈利能力方面咧，見到國泰即係過去嗰2年都即係差唔多全年都賺接近100億㗎啦，有冇信心下半年都可以即係維持翻呢個能力咧？同埋喺嗰個資金分配方面啦，因為頭先都提到買咗波音飛機之後，其實都已經係投資額超過之前預計1000億㗎啦，所以就喺嗰個資金運用方面，其實即係足唔足夠係維持翻第一就個盈利能力啦，第二就係而家個派息嘅能力咧？唔該。
喺收益率方面，我陣間請阿 Lavinia 可以去解釋下。咁或者我答下下半年同埋我哋投資方面嘅問題啦。 咁上半年咧，其實我哋嘅業績就大家都睇到係非常之穩健啦，亦都係我哋連續第3年上半年有一個好嘅盈利嘅表現。咁當然下半年咧，我哋都會好集中精力做好我哋自己嘅營運，希望咧我哋可以連續3年嘅業績全年業績咧都係有好嘅表現。咁但係咧下半年其實依然啦，就好似上半年咁，我哋都面對好多不明朗嘅因素。尤其是貨運方面，其實個貿易戰嘅情況咧，都仲未穩定落嚟嚇。咁我哋都要睇住嚟緊貿易戰嘅發展啦。咁同埋油價對我哋嘅影響亦都好大。咁所以我哋下半年嘅表現咧，亦都要好視乎油價嘅走勢。咁但係整體嚟講咧，我哋希望可以連續3年全年嘅業績咧，都可以做到穩健嘅業績。咁另外就係我哋將來嘅投資啦，咁我哋喺發布都提過，其實我哋累積嘅投資未來咧，其實已經遠超於1000億嘅港元。咁我哋希望咧就係為香港國際航空樞紐嘅建設咧出一分力，為未來咧打下一個穩固嘅基礎。咁喺我哋每一個投資嘅決定，包括我哋今日公布嘅14架777-9航機嘅採購咧，其實我哋都係經過好審慎嘅檢視，我哋先做出呢啲決定嚇。咁所以喺未來我哋10年我哋成個財務嘅穩健嘅狀況咧，其實對我哋嚟講係非常之緊要。咁我哋其實都審視過唔同嘅發展情況，我哋認為咧，其實我哋做呢啲投資決定咧，都係非常之小心同埋穩健，係唔會對集團未來發展咧係有負面嘅影響。另外咧，我哋對香港作為一個國際航空樞紐咧，其實都係非常有信心。咁無論喺客運又好啦，貨運又好，其實香港都係排一個前列嘅位置。咁同埋咧，香港係一個非常理想嘅位置，我哋可以將成個中國同國際咧聯通，發揮一個樞紐嘅角色。同埋咧，另外除咗香港嘅市場咧，我哋對未來內地大灣區9大城市嘅市場嘅增長咧，亦都非常有信心嚇。咁所以基於呢啲因素咧，我哋對未來咧係非常之有信心。咁當然啦，我哋都會係繼續小心去做投資嘅決定，同埋咧去睇住市場嘅情況、市場嘅變化咧，我哋去靈活咁去調節我哋嘅營運。多謝。咁收益率方面，麻煩阿 Lavinia 講下。
Okay. 咁首先我想講咧，其實收益率同埋票價兩樣嘢係有少少分別嘅。或者我先講咗票價先啦。咁我諗通常一般嘅大家都係關心呢個票價嘅問題啦。咁我成日都講票價主要就係供求去決定嘅。咁喺長途航線嘅票價上邊，我頭先都講啦，因為我哋今年嘅夏天其實加咗好多長途航線嘅航班。咁喺北美加咗50%嘅航班，喺歐洲加咗30%，喺南太平洋澳洲加咗25%。咁當我哋大量咁加入呢啲航班嘅時候，咁自然就會票價一定係會有空間去下調啦。咁但係呢個係票價啦。咁但係剛剛呢位記者朋友亦都同我講收益率，但係其實收益率咧就唔係淨係睇票價，票價當然係其中一個好緊要嘅部分啦。但係收益率其實亦都有其他嘅一啲因素去影響㗎啦。譬如話，當我哋而家加咗好多長航班嘅時候，咁長途航班嘅收益率一般係較短途航班係低嘅。咁所以當我加咗長途航班嘅比重嘅時候，咁亦都對收益率有影響啦。咁另外就係乘客嘅組成啦，亦都對收益率有影響啦。譬如話，我哋過去嗰2年，當我哋航班未恢復到100% 嘅時候，咁我哋主要我哋針對係服務香港啦，就盡量係再多啲係嚟香港同埋喺香港出發嘅乘客啦。咁但係隨住我哋而家一路咁樣投入運力，咁其實我哋過境旅客嘅比例亦都會增加啦。咁當過境比例嘅旅客增加嘅時候，其實亦都會對收益率有啲影響咯。咁所以其實收益率就有以上幾個唔同嘅因素係影響緊嘅。
Lavinia. Allow me to go online to address a couple of questions online. The first question is from Aviation Week. Approximately, when might the phase-out of the 777-300ERs and the 777-300s be complete? And also, do you still hold any purchase right for the 777-9s after this additional order? Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. I think the question on fleet will pass to Alex, if that's okay.
Yes, certainly. Well, the 777-300ER is still a relatively young aircraft, and it will be part of our fleet, 35 of them in operation now, for many years to come until the mid to late 2030s. The 777-9 will come in from 2027 and will sit alongside the 777-300ER. And on the subject of purchase rights, yes, as part of this transaction, we have 7 purchase rights for 777-9 aircraft.
Okay, thank you. Next question. 民航资源网。
你好，我是来自民航资源网的记者，然后有一个问题想请教一下，因为我们也看到了疫情之后，最近这2-3年的时间，国泰航空其实重新获得了非常多的殊荣，然后包括也有很多的奖项。那么我们看到了国泰航空在服务和运营方面，然后已经被行业内获得了非常多的认可。那么未来的话，特别是在服务品质和运营方面，还有没有其他的一些计划，或者说有没有一些更多的一些创新的举措？另外的话，我们想了解一下，就是对于国泰航空而言，然后未来如何能够进一步保持其高端品牌定位的这个差异化，然后进一步巩固自己的优势？谢谢。
好，谢谢记者的问题。我们很高兴，就是从疫情之后，我们国泰航空在世界排名榜一直的上升。从23年的时候，我们是排全球第8，就是 Skytrax 那个评分。然后去年我们就进到头5。然后今年呢，我们进到了头3，所以我们是向着希望成为全球最佳的航空公司进发。那在各方面我们都做出一些投资，像在我们机上的产品，去年年底的时候，我们推出了在我们777-300ER 的飞机上推出了新的尔雅商务舱，还有新的特选经济舱。那这些产品都是已经受我们的乘客欢迎。然后呢，明年呢，我们也会推出一些新的产品，像在我们的 A330-300的飞机上，我们会推出躺平的商务舱。那在2027年到7779飞机来的时候呢，我们还会推出新的头等舱。另外就是贵宾室，就是下个礼拜我们北京新的贵宾室就会开幕，然后呢，明年年初我们在纽约的新的贵宾室也会开幕。所以在机上地下的产品，我们都不断的会投资。另外呢，就是在餐饮也好，机上娱乐也好，在我们的乘务员的服务方面也是我们的重点，所以我们会不断的推出新的一些产品。像刚才我也提过，在餐饮方面，最近我们就推出了这个寻味中华，就是中国8大菜系的一个概念的菜式，推在我们香港到内地的商务舱的飞机上边。我们也听到很多正面的反馈，会推动我们以后继续努力，把餐饮、娱乐跟我们的乘务员的服务做得更好。希望就是做到全世界最佳的航空公司，为我们香港也好，为整个中国也好去争光。谢謝。
好，謝謝。下一個問題，明報啊 ，Gary。
你好啊，明報記者，我想請教下，就係而家香港快運都即係啱啱提出嗰個數，就係除咗財務支出同埋稅之前嘅虧損，我想知會唔會有個淨虧損可以提供咧？咁另外就啱啱即係提到嗰個乘客收益率，就可能係加個長途航線同埋嗰個轉過境旅客個比例提升而有影響啦。咁啱啱提到就國泰都增加緊美洲一啲印東南亞嘅旅客啊，同埋印度旅客嘅比例啦，跟住同埋印都增加緊啲長途航線嘅運力。咁其實預期下半年個乘客收益率其實係咪都會有啲影響咧？唔該。
或者收益率嘅問題，我揾阿 Lavinia 再去解釋下。咁香港快運我哋嘅公佈咧就係佢哋上半年虧損就係 除咗財務方面嘅支出啦，同埋稅務支出前咧，我哋公布咗就係虧損500多億嚇，咁我哋就冇其他數字再公布啦嚇，咁希望咧我哋可以下半年可以業務有改善啦，隨住日本地震嘅謠言啦，慢慢咁去舒緩啦。我哋希望香港快運嘅日本線嘅表現會更加好啦，同埋佢哋過去呢18個月咧，其實都開咗好多新嘅航線。咁嗰啲航線咧，其實都係發展當中。我哋希望咧喺下半年見到嗰啲航線咧，慢慢逐步成熟，亦都會幫到我哋整體嘅盈利去改善嘅。咁喺國泰收益率方面，Lavinia 麻煩。
OK， 係咯。咁我頭先都講到啦，咁其實如果我哋下半年當我哋一路繼續去投入更多嘅運力啦，咁會可能對票價會令到大眾就會覺得高興，因為可能個票價會下調啦。咁但係另外頭先亦都講過啦，當我一路加入長航線啦，同埋如果加過境旅客嘅比例一路增加嘅時候，其實當然會對收益率有影響啦。但我頭先冇講其中一樣嘢，另一樣其實對收益率有影響嘅就係所謂前艙同埋後艙嘅比例啦。咁當我哋越嚟越多商務嘅客人嘅比例嘅時候，咁其實呢個亦都會對收益率有影響啦。咁喺呢一個因素上面，其實我哋見到個發展都幾正面嘅。其實我哋上半年見到我哋商務艙即係前艙嘅客人嘅入座率係比之前係提高咗咯。咁呢個係會對收益率有良好嘅影響啦。咁但係其實除咗收益率之外，我哋睇整體收入其實亦都總體嘅載客量其實亦都好緊要咯。咁我頭先都有提到過啦，我哋上半年嘅載客量其實係比之前一路提高緊啦。咁而家已經去到大概85%啦。咁當我哋如果可以繼續去提升呢個嘅入座率嘅時候，或者提高嗰個整體嘅客人嘅數量嘅時候，其實對整體嘅收入亦都會有良好嘅影響咯。
Okay, thank you. I have a follow-up question still on HK Express, so maybe I'll take that online. It's from Flight Global. So will there be a rethink of the network growth strategy, especially with HK Express, given that you have acknowledged that some of the new routes will take time to mature? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, HK Express has been on a rapid expansion mode in the past 2.5 years. As of today, they are already double their own size compared to 2019. And in that process, we've been launching many new destinations. And as a low-cost carrier, we need to remain agile. So we are very willing to try new destinations. But these new destinations, many of them will take time to mature. We need to give them some time for our customers to get to know those new destinations and then develop interest to travel to those new destinations. But as I mentioned, as a low-cost carrier, we'll be very flexible. So we'll continue to review the performance of those new destinations and make adjustments where required in the second half of this year into next year. And in terms of our network development strategy for HK Express, they have been heavily reliant on Japan route for many, many years. And in the past 2 years, we've been consciously trying to diversify our network by adding new points. For example, into Korea, now we cover 5 points in Korea. Into Taiwan, we cover 4 points. Into Vietnam, we cover 4 points. Malaysia, 3 points, etc. So now the network of HK Express is much more diversified into Southeast Asia, also Chinese mainland. They used to only have one destination into Chinese mainland not long ago, but we now have 6 destinations on HK Express from Hong Kong into the Chinese mainland already within a very short period of time. But Chinese mainland, we do see there's still a lot more potential. So we'll be exploring more new points into the Chinese mainland moving forward. So all in all, we want to have a more balanced network across the Northeast Asia region, Southeast Asia regions, as well as the Chinese mainland region.
Okay. Thank you, Ronald. 下一个问题，21世纪经济报道，谢谢。
各位好。 来自南方财经21世纪经济报道。我有2个问题，一个是关于航运的问题，一个是关于大湾区的问题。航运的问题是，就是大家都知道，这个美国特朗普政府的这个关税问题给全球的货运带来了很大的影响。不知道国泰航空之前是有什么样的应对措施，以及对未来是有什么样的预判和应对的。另外就是这个达到了全球这个100个客运航点之后，未来是不是会把一些重心拓展放在中亚地区？关于大湾区的问题呢，就是今年是这个15运是粤港澳3地首次一起共同来举办，相信会给香港啊还有大湾区地区带来很大的客流。不知道这个国泰方面有没有一些规划？另外我们知道不久前可能国泰在 IT 服务方面也遇到了一些挑战，之前呢，国泰在广州、深圳，也都落地了 IT 中心。不知道这3个 IT 中心，包括香港的，有没有一些数字化的协同，来提高国泰的这个 IT 服务能力？谢谢。
好，我先去回答有关大湾区的问题，然后我请凯斯总去回答关税，还有这个中亚航线发展的问题。我们直跟香港差不多是80年所以香港是我们的总部，也是我们最重要的市场。但香港的人口呢，现在已经是达到一个稳定的情况，所以我们未来的增长呢，还是要靠大湾区内地城市9大城市对我们未来增长的支撑。那无论是在国泰航空也好，香港快运，我们都是非常的重点发展大湾区内地的市场。那发展当中很重要，就是我们要海陆空把大湾区的旅客带到香港国际机场。那在这几方面其实这几年我们都说过很多次，就是海陆空的网络连接内地城市到香港机场，其实是越来越方便。像现在坐船来香港机场，坐飞机其实是不用入境香港。就是很方便的，就是到机场的禁区，行李也是可以直挂，在码头值机以后呢，那行李就不用再理，就到目的地的时候才再看到行李。所以这些便利大湾区旅客到香港坐飞机的措施，我们会继续的发展。那另外呢，一个发展呢，就是我们有一些重要的总部的功能，我们现在也是把一些放在大湾区。像今年我们就刚刚在深圳开了一个IT 的办公室，也是继我们去年在广州开 IT 办公室以后呢，我们是在大湾区除香港跟广州以外第3个 IT 的办公室。那这个3个 IT 的办公室其实都是我们总部 IT 的功能，他们3个办公室其实是每天的彼此的沟通。现在甚至我们国泰城，香港的国泰城到我们深圳办公室其实有直通的巴士，所以他们员工之间可以很频繁的交通。那希望呢，我们以后呢，就是也靠着除了香港的人才发展以外，我们也可以靠着深圳、广州一些人才帮我们发展我们总部的一些功能。那刚才我也提到，就是到今年年底，我们预计就是在中国内地的员工会达到4000人，在我们整个集团34000人里边会占到一个非常重要的比例。那刚才第一个问题，请凯世总回答。
是。谢谢你的问题。刚刚提到过关于货运的关税的影响是当然是有的，但是我们觉得在上半年对我们来说，我们还是整体的货运的成绩还是理想的。我觉得一方面可能是有一些顾客是赶在不同的这个关税的实现以前嘛，就是提前把这个货送出去，所以在需求方面我们看到还是可以的了。 另外就是除了从这个内地出以外，从其他的地区，比如说是东南亚、印度，我们也觉得这个需求还是保持。另外我刚刚也有提到过，就是另外是我们的团队就是一直是很努力的去找新的机遇，或者是如果是一条航线或者是一个地区可能短期货运的需求有影响呢，我们怎么样可以正确的，比如说是调动我们的航班，在我们的网络上做出一些调整，去补足这个新的一些需求。那这个我们在下半年，在这个不稳定性的情况以下，我们会继续这样做，保持这个弹性跟这个灵活性。另外就是，当然是这个可能是短期我们会这样做，但是我也想补充，就是我们对货运的发展是充满信心的，然后我们在货运方面的投资也会继续。所以比如说是除了现在我们现有的在的货物，尤其是可能是电商，因为可能是在关税战里面可能是有一些影响，所以我们也一直很积极的发展其他的货运的类型，比如说是我们的投资在很多在我们的货运特殊方案上面现货货或者是要有温度控制的一些货物，那这些都是容许我们可以更加扩展我们的这个商业的领域。另外是我们也会继续投资在比如说是数码化上面，令到我们整体的这个顾客的体验会更加好，令到我们可以就算有关税或者是其他外部的影响，我们自己也可以尽量是做好自己的基础。那你另外的问题就是关于网络重要的方面，当然我们是会一直去不断的去寻找一些新的机遇。就是我们去年年底的时候开通了里雅德，那这个是一带一路的航线呢，一年下来我们发现它的成绩也是很好，所以从最初的每周3班，我们现在已经是加添到每周4班，也在想怎么样尽快把它可以再加到去每天1班，所以随着这个好的这个经验，我们会继续用这个开明的态度去看重要地区的新的这个机遇，也会继续去找是不是有新的点可以开。
我想补充一下，现在刚才说到就是我们全球的航点，客运航点已经超过100个，那当中呢有23个是香港飞到内地。另外有接近30个航点是一带一路的航点。谢谢。
Okay, thank you. 谢谢. Next question, maybe we take one from online. We have one from CRHK. This one is about fuel hedging. So the question was, in the first half of the year, what is the reason for the hedging loss? And do you see this improving in the second half of the year? And would that be impacted by the fuel or the oil prices going forward? Thank you.
Okay, so just make a general statement about the hedging policy and then ask Rebecca to answer the question in a little more detail. Look, we're very comfortable with the hedging policy that we have, which has been very effective in managing the peaks and troughs of the oil cycle. And so we're confident that the hedging policy is an effective way of protecting the interests of the company and all the shareholders. So obviously you see losses from time to time, you see gains from time to time as the oil price falls and rises, but over time it is the most effective way that we have as a company of managing the risks associated with a commodity such as oil. But Rebecca, would you like to
Yes.
at all?
Thank you for the question. And yes, you're correct. We made a small fuel hedging loss in the first half of this year. As Pat mentions, we continue to apply our standard hedging policy, which typically we hedge fuel up to 2 years out based on the price at the time and the forecast consumption. In the analyst briefing and what will be available online, we include a graph that shows how much fuel we've got hedged for the next 2 years, and we have just under 30% of our fuel hedged for the next 12 months, for example. Also in that chart, it shows the price at which we purchased those hedges, and so you can see that it is at a starts at around 75 and then drops progressively over the 2-year period. So during the time of low fuel prices, typically you will make some hedging losses, and then as you go into higher fuel price times, you'll make some gains. So it's quite normal to see this gains and losses happening over the period in line with the policy that we're applying. So yes, you can calculate the estimate based on what the fuel price does in the second half in order to calculate what you imagine the losses or potential gains will be.
Okay, thank you. I think we have time for 2 more questions. Next question, TVB 唔該。
唔該，首先都想問下香港快運嗰邊嘅。咁早前呢，其實都有乘客喺網上度就講過啦，反映過覺得喺搭快運嘅時候咧，係分多級收費，可能啲行李費加埋都同其他航班差唔多價錢，甚至同國泰都差唔多價錢。呢一個所謂定價會唔會出現一少少問題，令到快運今年嘅收益就蝕咗錢咁樣呢？咁會唔會咁樣就令到快運冇咗可能廉航嘅差異性，令到啲人就唔去選擇快運？咁同埋都想問下2號客運大樓遲啲都會開通啦，咁國泰會唔會考慮可能將啲航班，例如係短途航班搬過去呢？咁同埋開通咗之後，會唔會對快運嘅盈利都有啲幫助咁樣？唔該。
好多謝你嘅問題。首先咧，我哋其實環顧全世界嘅低成本航空公司咧，其實個特色咧都係提供最低廉嘅票價。咁咧，如果乘客要買行李啊，要食嘢咧，其實就係乘客嘅選擇，佢哋可以選擇再加錢去買嚇。咁呢個都係全世界低成本航空公司嘅做法，務求咧令到乘客咧可以如果佢唔需要其他嘅服務咧，其實佢可以用一個最低廉嘅價錢，可以去到出邊旅行。咁呢個咧，其實香港快運咧都係奉行全球呢個低成本航空公司一個最佳嘅一個做法嚇。咁喺香港嚟講咧，其實我哋嘅票價同埋產品咧都好受我哋嘅乘客歡迎，因為咧佢哋係有選擇，佢哋唔需要嘅服務咧就唔需要買，佢哋需要嘅時候咧就可以靈活咁去加上去。咁所以咧呢個咧亦都係我哋會繼續去履行一個最佳嘅低成本航空公司嘅做法，會繼續做落去嘅。咁另外咧就係當明年香港國際機場2號客運大樓開通嘅時候咧，國泰航空咧就會留喺1號客運大樓，咁我哋香港快運咧就會搬去2號嘅客運大樓。咁希望咧我哋喺2號客運大樓嘅發展咧，會有啲新嘅發展啦，因為都係一個新嘅客運大樓，亦都係咧有一啲最新嘅科技，電子化嘅科技。我哋希望咧可以利用新嘅客運大樓咧，令到我哋香港快運嘅營運咧更加有效，提供俾顧客嘅服務咧有更多嘅靈活同埋選擇。多謝。
唔該 Ronald， 最後的一個問題就是那個南方都市報。
謝謝主持人。南方都市報提問，留意到特區政府統計處公布的數據顯示呢，經過香港機場來港的過境的人次呢，仍然沒有追上2019年以前的水平。那其實看起來還是有一些增長的空間。那麼想了解一下，請教一下，就是國泰航空在未來會採取哪些措施，進一步吸引旅客來香港轉機？謝謝。
這個問題詳細我叫凱世總去回答一下。那背景呢，就是我們國泰航空其實我們會，當然是香港人到內地到外地是一個我們很重要的一個人流。另外呢，就是內地跟國際的旅客到香港，也是一個非常重要的生意的來源。但是呢，傳統來講，其實我們有一半的生意呢，其實是過境香港，就是從一個國家經香港到另外一個國家的生意，對我們作為一個樞紐的航空公司是非常重要。所以在未來我們的增長方面，在這個過境的生意的建設是一個非常重要的重點。那詳細我們這方面的發展，我請凱世總解釋一下。
是。 谢谢你的问题，我刚刚也有提到过了。当然是过去2年，可能当我们的运力没有恢复到100%的时候，我们主要都是接待是往返香港的客人。但是随着我们继续投入运力，其实我们现在今年所在的这个过境的旅客的比例已经差不多跟以前一样，就是差不多一半。所以也随着我们继续增加航班，那经过香港过境的旅客也会一直增加。那怎么样可以再做好一点呢？我觉得这是怎么样可以优化我们的网络，优化我们的时刻，令到这个搏击的时间可以缩短。另外就是可以提供更多的选择给这个客人。然后我们未来除了这个空对空的连接，这个整个流程希望做得更好以外，另外我们在其他多式联业方面，尤其是针对大湾区的客人，我们希望也可以在其他方面，比如说是海对空陆对空的方面，也都可以提供更多的选择给他们，让他们更会选择香港作为过境的地方。但是我觉得除了我们自己以外，可能我们也需要跟其他的持份者一起合作，把香港真的是打作为一个旅客希望用的这个首选的这个转口港。那要做到这样，我们其实也跟香港国际机场香港旅发局跟香港比如说是一些重要的景点的这个营运商一直也保持这个很紧密的联系，就是看看我们怎么样可以打造一些很好的这个过境的产品令到如果是客人可以选择的时候，比如说是选我们还是其他的，比如说是新加坡或者是其他中东的转机点的时候，怎样可以真的是发挥这个香港的这个优势。那当然也要谢谢香港政府，他们最近在做这个机场离境税的一些新的这个豁免，从10月1号开始，也有一些是更有利于过境旅客的一些豁免出台了。然后我们也希望可以利用这些，也吸引更多的人利用香港作为一些转口的港口。谢谢。
谢谢 Ronald 跟 Lavinia。Okay, so thank you to all our speakers and thank you for all your questions. I would like now to invite our CEO to recap the key points in Cantonese before we end the briefing today. Ronald, please.
各位傳媒嘅朋友，午安！再一次感謝大家出席今日嘅發佈會。剛才咧，主席已經講述過我哋中期嘅業績。以下呢，我只係作一個簡單嘅複述。國泰集團喺2025年上半年呢，錄得咗37億港元嘅盈利，同上年嘅上半年呢係相若嘅。我哋集團呢亦都決定好似舊年一樣，派發第一次中期股息，每股20港仙，總數呢係會派出13億港元。集團呢上半年嘅財務表現穩健。雖然咧客運收益率回落，但係咧客運嘅運力同埋乘客量咧都有所增長。加上咧貨運業務咧保持穩定，同埋燃油成本下降，都對我哋上半年嘅業績帶嚟正面嘅影響。過去一段時間，航空業咧需要面對好多唔明朗嘅因素同埋挑戰，但係咧過去幾年咧，我哋好努力建立咗穩固嘅基礎。令到國泰集團比起以往咧更加具彈性，更加有適應力，令到咧我哋集團喺風高浪急嘅環境裏邊咧，依然可以穩健咁前行。並且咧有能力持續投資，進一步鞏固香港作為國際航空樞紐嘅地位，同埋咧同時提升我哋顧客嘅體驗。2025年上半年，集團兩家嘅客運航空公司，即係國泰航空同埋香港快運呢，今年以嚟已經公布咗19個新嘅航點，而總嘅客運航點總數呢已經突破咗100嘅大關。我哋集團呢充分發揮植根香港、背靠祖國、聯通世界嘅優勢。為我哋顧客提供更加廣泛、更方便嘅航班網絡，並且呢係鞏固香港國際航空樞紐嘅地位。喺內地嘅網絡方面呢，隨住香港快運上個星期啱啱開通咗貴陽嘅航線，我哋集團 來往香港同內地嘅客運航點咧，已經增加到23個，而每週咧我哋營運大約300對航班。我哋不但咧係加強咗香港同內地嘅聯繫，亦都咧係滿足咗內地不斷增長嘅國際出行需求。喺國際網絡方面，我哋集團亦都繼續積極咁去拓展，尤其喺長途嘅航班方面，我哋非常咁努力將香港同一啲重點城市連繫一齊。例如我哋而家飛倫敦呢，每日有5班嘅航班；悉尼每日我哋有4班嘅航班。喺北美呢，我哋紐約、三藩市、洛杉磯亦都每日各有3班嘅航班。另外咧，今年我哋已經加咗羅馬、慕尼黑、布魯塞爾、達拉斯等嘅長途嘅航點。咁喺今年嘅稍後呢，我哋更會復飛亞德萊德。我哋集團呢，而家有充分嘅資源，令到所有可以用嘅飛機呢都係全面運作。計呢，我哋近年呢喺招聘同埋培訓嘅數字呢屢創新高之後呢，往後呢喺招聘同埋培訓呢，我哋都會回復一個比較正常嘅水平，配合我哋未來穩定嘅增長。與此同時呢，我哋集團不斷努力喺提升顧客各方面嘅體驗方面，我哋嘅努力嘅成果呢，亦都獲得業界一啲獎項嘅肯定。我舉一啲例子，我哋國泰航空喺今年嘅 Skytrax 最佳航空公司嘅評選裏邊呢，由前年嘅第8位，去年嘅第5位呢，我哋今年終於晉身到全球嘅頭3名。並且咧喺Skytrax 嘅獎項裏邊咧，我哋獲得全球最佳嘅經濟客艙同埋全球最佳機上娛樂2項大獎。而國泰貨運呢，亦都再次喺航空運輸世界 ATW 嘅評選裏邊咧，評為年度最佳嘅貨運營運商。而香港快運呢，亦都躋身咗 Airline Ratings， 評為全球最佳低成本航空公司嘅頭5名。呢啲榮譽咧都激勵我哋努力不懈，向住高質量發展方向邁進，繼續咧為香港以至整個中國嘅航空業爭光。集團咧為未來嘅投資總額咧已經遠超1000億港元。呢啲重大嘅投資代表咗我哋集團對香港未來發展係充滿咗信心嘅。喺機隊方面，我哋今日好高興宣布，國泰咧已經行使購買權，向波音額外訂購咗14架7779飛機，即係咧合共訂購咗35架呢個類型嘅飛機。呢一項新嘅交易咧，令到我哋集團喺未來接收嘅新飛機嘅總數咧係超過100架嘅。而喺空中體驗方面咧，國泰航空全新嘅2雅商務艙同埋機上嘅娛樂系統咧，已經喺國際一啲設計大獎裏邊咧屢獲殊榮。展望將來咧，我哋會繼續推出新嘅機上產品。包括喺明年2026年呢，我哋會喺現役嘅 A330 機隊咧推出全新躺平式嘅商務艙。然後咧，我哋會喺2027年喺波音7779客機推出嘅同時咧，我哋亦都推出一個全球領先嘅頭等艙。喺地面嘅體驗方面呢，我哋嘅重點就喺我哋嘅貴賓室方面嘅發展。喺香港機場嘅日蓮塘 The Bridge 貴賓室咧，已經喺前2個月咧，我哋開始重新營運，亦都咧好受我哋嘅乘客歡迎。喺下個禮拜咧，全新面貌嘅北京旗艦貴賓室咧，亦即將啟用。而喺明年年初咧，我哋亦都會喺紐約開幕我哋全新嘅旗艦貴賓室。最後咧，我想講就係我哋集團取得呢啲進展呢，都係有賴我哋顧客嘅信任同埋我哋員工嘅努力。 我咧衷心喺呢度咧感謝我哋顧客一直以嚟嘅支持，同埋每一位國泰員工對追求卓越嘅堅定承諾。我哋會繼續積極推動香港國際航空樞紐嘅長遠蓬勃發展，並且咧致力為我哋嘅顧客、員工同埋我哋嘅家香港而繼續向前邁進。多謝大家。
Thank you, Ronald, and thank you again to all our speakers. This concludes today's media briefing. If you have further questions, please email them to press@cathaypacific.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good day.